screen sharing.
Huh?
Screen sharing.
So but everything is set, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else is going to join?
So we'll be starting in 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you.
And a small adjustment. So without any delay, we'll start our next session. It is welcome to the fourth National Conference on Recent Innovations in Civil Engineering in association with ICMPC and ICMET, co-sponsored by Beam and Graphics Integrated Studio Private Limited and RK Engineers Hyderabad. It is my honor to introduce the speaker of the session, Bhanushree Prakash Garu. He is the CEO, founder and principal architect of Beam Graphics from India, UAE and USA. His academic qualifications include Bachelor of Architecture from India, Pearl Qualified Professional Program Estirama from Abu Dhabi. He is an Autodesk Certified Professional cum Instructor. He is a seasoned expert in beam modeling, Revit, architectural modeling, parametric design, and beam authoring. Navis Works, BOQ Clash Detection 4D program, 5D quantities. He possesses an overall experience of 28 years as an architect, BIM and sustainability expert. His previous positions are Vice President of Projects and BIM from Dubai, Senior Project Architect or Job Manager at Abu Dhabi, Team Leader and CAD Manager at Bahrain. His few of the glimpses of his projects, which ranging from mega luxurious to educational campus, includes Palm Tower Dubai, Nakhil Mall Dubai, Dira Mall Dubai, Business Park Dubai, Emiri Terminal Qatar, Khalifa University Extension Abu Dhabi, Nirvana Luxury Towers Dubai, Airbase Buildings UAE, and many more, which from India and international also. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being part of our conference. I request now Bhanu Prakash Garu to please continue with the session.
Yeah. Thank you, Hemlata Garu, for the introduction. And thanks, GRIT. And I think I have a problem with screen sharing option. Like
you have, we have given control, sir. You are the host now.
Okay. Still, I'm not getting it. Okay. Now I got it. Okay, got it. Okay, let me get into the project. I mean, in the presentation right away. So.
Presentation is visible, sir.
So it's visible, right?
Yes, please keep it in slideshow mode.
Yes, it's already moved into slideshow mode. Yeah.
Yes, now it is. Please proceed, sir.
Okay, so I'll try to talk about some of the innovations and also in general overall, orientation towards the digitization, what's happening in the civil engineering and related, it's basically to the buildings. So I'll try to cover some of the points and then we can definitely discuss in the question answer session the doubts and the other aspects. Okay, so these are the introduction and the content. I'll straight away get into the topic. So quickly before going, I just wanted to give you the orientation or understanding about what we are, and so that some of the projects also I'm trying to show here. We are working from different parts of the world. So we have an office in US, we have an office in Dubai, and also representative office in Auckland, New Zealand. But majority of the work happens from Hyderabad office. Even in Dubai, we have around 15-20 people, but in Hyderabad, it's the major work happens. Okay, so these are the different areas we work. We work around the building industry. So the whole thing is about we do everything in the building industry, like architecture, interior design, landscape, structure, and then mechanical, like HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and specialized services like, AVIT, security systems, which are, so every single aspect of the building industry we'll try to touch base on. And we also do project management, like, design management and site supervision. So these two activities majorly happening in Dubai. We are going to start actually very soon in India also. So at this moment, design we are doing here, but design management and site supervision we are doing in Dubai only. Okay, so other things like we are actively involved in graphics, and also we have a academy, like, we do training and implementation focus for students and also professionals. Okay, so again, I don't want to take you too much of time. I think, once you see the presentation, you will understand what all things we do. So whatever we are presenting, today, everything is either done by us or we have the capability of it. So that's what I'm just trying to talk about. So in nutshell, we are in the process, in the basically digital part of the industry. Okay, and then this is again quickly about, what we do in terms of design and other aspects. So again, I don't want to bore you because already ma'am told about myself. Just wanted to show you some of the projects, and couple of projects actually I'm trying to show in the presentation in detail. These are high-end, super luxury and super innovative kind of structures in the Gulf area. So these are the projects. It's not just BIM service we provide. These are the projects actually developed under my guidance in the design and also in the construction. So I will go through in that, in this process. Okay, let me start with a report from McKinsey. McKinsey is one of the very respected journalist, or you can say it's a journalism, or they do a lot of reports. They do for many other industries along with construction. So some of the experts actually have trying to pick from McKinsey report. This is just in the time of COVID, and also this shows June, and then there was another report which came in October also. I'm touching base on this couple of reports. So this is during the COVID. This report came, and then the subsequent reports are after, like, maybe the second and third of the COVID times. So the whole idea about even the conference theme is about innovation. So this is again what I'm trying to talk about is the major disruption. So the major disruption is going to happen in construction. It's happening in construction already, and how this is going to impact the ecosystem of the construction. So let's go a little more details. Okay, so this is the summary report. You can see that highlighted words, and construction is the biggest industry in the world. This is the major industry in the world. So the total 13% of global GDP comes from construction. So this is not a small, do not worry about what's happening with IT and all those aspects, but the construction industry itself is one of the major one. So the huge contribution also is made, but then there are also challenges with that. That's why there is a big confusion. So the major aspects, what is happening is there are 9 shifts which they identified. So which we know many things about: sustainability, cost pressure, skills are becoming a difficulty. Like, one of the major aspects is skill scarcity also. Many people are shifting the core fields. They are moving into different areas, but there is a real huge necessity in the industry, but people are moving away, and then availability is becoming a challenging. And then the new materials are coming. There is a lot of research is happening. So why I really want you to focus is most of you are young engineers you are going to become, and then and civil engineering is one of the major a pillar of the construction industry. So there is no need to really leave the core area, because there are abundant of opportunities. But if you are going to be in the similar, or in a regular traditional way, then that's the challenge. because it's a very old industry. It's one of the oldest industry, right? So when man are human able to understand that, privacy, and when they start understanding about cooking, or basically fire and everything. So the one of the next, actually, like, it's a very famous roti kapda makan, right? The third one is what is the shelter came up. So it is as old as that industry, and also it is the largest industry even today in the world. So now the COVID actually thrown a lot of challenges. It's exactly thrown similar challenges to the construction industry also. So during the peak of the COVID, I was in Dubai. So I could see the difference, actually, the way India has managed and the way Dubai has managed the COVID. Uh, it's all about the process of digital readiness and digital awareness, which actually made a lot of difference. And the way India bounced back also is phenomenal, because we had a lot of homework done already. It's only that we had some challenges of infrastructure. So, but what's going to happen and what's happening with the COVID is, it's one of the being very old industry. Construction was very adamant for change. It was going towards very, very traditional way. Any change in the construction industry was becoming a challenge. But in fact, COVID crisis actually accelerated the real change. So in fact, now, though digitization started in the construction industry almost 15 years back, so now this is a generation actually can see the major benefit in terms of career wise, in terms of the industry wise itself. That, I think, though it is a very painful thing in the COVID, but that really made a lot of help. Okay, now let's see. This is another. Those are all good points of it, but this is the reality of it. So the reality of the construction is, because it is not organized, because it is not properly digitized, the major issues are the rework. There is a lot of rework, and then there is the information what we provide. Like, there are various stakeholders. I'm going to touch base on that. You have consultants who design, and then you have contractors who is going to build. Okay, so who is going to build, and then the operators is going to operate the building. So there are many different kind of people come into picture. It's not like our industry is one of the largest collaborative industry. So we will go into that. But when you have too many collaboration is essential and required, and if you are not using the process driven approach, there is a lot of missing items. Okay, those are all the major aspects which we face. And one of the first challenge it mentioned about the cost and schedule. So any kind of a costing is something like 3 to 4% or 3 to 5%, but is the construction is only something which talks about 10 to 15% as a kind of speculation in the cost. So which is very, very high. Sometimes, because it's the duration is also very long, even project costing, sometimes it even goes double. We have a lot of challenges like that. So that's exactly, we are ready and you are equipped, and you will be really engaged in a right place. Okay, so again, like, this is again from the McKinsey report. So let's concentrate on the 5 big ideas. So I'll try to quickly brief about. This is exactly matching with your topic, also the conference topic. So what are the disruption? Disruption is, is actually a positive way of disturbing the current workflow. Okay, so it is going to disrupt in a project in a positive way. One of the most important thing is about, you must have heard a lot about drones. So the complete surveying has phenomenally changed. In olden days, our days and our parents' days, the survey is a very, very, very tedious job and manual and lot of hard working. So right now, like, the drones are being used extensively on the survey. And then you have something called point cloud data. So it's basically a laser data that kind of a camera will be kept on the drone, and that particular camera will be sending the laser points, and it will go and hit to the ground and will get back to that locations. So your entire data now is a digital data, which is a vector-based data. So even from the total workstation, or from the drone survey, or then there is something called actually point cloud sensors, laser cameras. So all these things stick together. The complete survey has been redefined. Okay, this is at the city level, at site level, individual site level, and when it comes to even building level, and even within the building interior level, there's so many levels. From the micro to macro, the surveying system has completely changed. Okay, so this is again, everything is digital. Okay, second one is about building information modeling. It's they mentioned it as 5D. So we'll go through that. I don't want to take time, because this entire presentation, majority of the time we'll be spending on the BIM. So the third one is digital collaboration and mobility. This is another phenomenal thing. Maybe next time, we can, there is an opportunity, we can discuss on further on that. The entire thing is like, if you remember, or if you've seen your parents' days, or our parents' days, the drawings, very big size drawings, A0 size drawings, and then the drawings are like, bundle heaps of drawings, and they were occupying a lot of space, and also they tear, and somebody need to go to the site with the drawing and show. So that entire thing changed into a simple mobile or a tab, little bigger tab onto it. So you can do lot many things with the tab on site. You can execute the building. You can actually record the incident, and you can report back to the site or to the project managers, what is happening on the site. Or there's so many things called snagging, like, once the building is completed, we have a process called snagging, identifying the mistakes in the building, or maybe the minor repairs in the building. So the entire reporting system on site moved from heavier, like, heavy use of files, written things, to a simple tabs, a simple iPads and Samsung. I mean, any kind of a tab, which can be used. So that's made actually a lot of difference. So then the next one is about Internet of Things and advanced analytics. So these, some of the aspects I'm going to cover here. So this is what the future is, IoT, and artificial intelligence is coming phenomenally into construction. Because it's a time is limited, I don't want to divert too many things, but there are wonderful mechanisms, and there is a serious focus during the COVID, and there are a lot of research came out of the COVID, is the engineering team, the technically sound team, which is involved in the site inspection or site approvals, and also, like, any kind of decision making, all that. There was a conscious thinking happened that, how we can move out from the site, except what is required for the supervision, like, labor, then the foreman, and maybe an engineer from the contractor side, maybe one engineer from the consultant side. Limited people will be on the site. Most of them, and the senior team and also the intellectual team, will be out of the site. So there is a lot of exercise happened. So there, you can use there's something called theta camera, 3D cameras. You can use them, and you can put them into on site, like, with the foreman on the helmet. You can integrate the camera, and somebody can watch that live, sitting in a home or in an office. So it's something like work from home, like what happened in the IT industry, and also our industry, design industry, BIM industry, even on site, except the people who are actively involved in the construction, remaining all can be working from home or working from their offices. This is something really happening, and some of the experiments we have done in Dubai with various builders, and then now we are getting a proper solutions. So the last one, the fifth one, is a future-proof design and construction, which is, I mean, you can see the symbol itself. It's a you like in this the second part, building information modeling is there, right? You have a complete 3D model design, and then you use something like a 3D concrete printer. And I'm very happy to know that, like, Bangalore, the post office, the first 3D printed building happened. I mean, while I was in Dubai, like, I saw the first building in the world, office building was built, and then several 3D printed homes and offices were built there. And now I'm happy to see that in India, in Bangalore, actually, the first one has been built by L&T. So this is no more far away, because the accuracy of the construction and the speed of construction, and most importantly, cost of the construction, are going to be very efficient. It's not just only 3D. You will be see. I mean, already we have seen precast has actually phenomenally increased, and it's going to further increase also. So these are the 5 major ideas, which probably an innovation. It requires a lot of research further, and a lot of products are being built on this areas. And this is only, like, to one kind of an idea. There are many other things which are happening. Okay, so before we go into the major details, I would like to again touch base on the process of building industry. So what happens is, like, how do we do? First, we need to identify. So identification is from either from the government or a private developer or an individual to identify the site for a particular development, right? So that is one exercise itself. So then once it is being identified, and then you identify this particular site is meant for probably an university, or probably for a commercial complex, or a cinema theater, or a residential complex, or an individual home, this is the exercise you do it. Then you start doing the design, while first initial designs are happening, and then immediately, as parallelly, you have to do coordinate and develop the design. So this is the very important aspect of it. I'm going to touch base on few areas. Then you construct, and then you go and operate. This is a nutshell of the construction industry or building industry stages. Okay. So I'm starting with the design here. This is again, the entire presentation is focusing towards digital design or a digitization of the construction. So it would be very biased towards the digitization, and which we see this is the present and also going to be extensive future. So in design also, like, what happens is the human ideas are limited. I mean, we cannot see in this again entire process. Please do not misunderstand that human capabilities are being seen as lower. No, absolutely not. So the human brain is the highest in order, but it's certain limitations in terms of processing and getting an output. Whether you hear about artificial intelligence, whether you hear about now ChatGPT, what is happening, all these things are not going to take away our human existence, our human brain. It's going to take still some more time, probably another 30-40 years it might take. But even then, the kind of professions are changing, the kind of definitions are changing. That is more important than worrying about the technology evolution. In fact, as being youngsters, you need to embrace the technology and should be ready for the right things. So let me just quickly take you through. So these are the limited things. And I mean, again, once we come back, like, we have done marvelous things without even computer or without even a proper drawing things. Pyramids were built, our Indian temples, how complex they are all being built without the software and without hardware. But however, they had one thing abundant is the time, and one thing abundant is resources. But unfortunately now it's a problem with the time, resources, and human race is actually growing phenomenally. So we need to take care of that needs. So when you go and this is a process called computational design. When you go into the computational design process, what happens is you will get enormous number of design options with unlimited computing power. These are utopian, and some of them are practical also. So then it's again, human brain is the one which need to be selected, the best of it, though it can give you various kind of uh, options, but one need to select. Okay, so this is the kind of power we are talking about in a very nutshell. So then computational thinking, we all know, like probably my age group, like I have 29 years experience now. I passed out in 94. So it's almost 29 years back. Those days, like, learning a basic program was something great. But I know my kids are learning at a very young age now, and you all learn at very, very younger ages. So the approach of the computational thinking is from, it has been there since long time. So our generations already passed and your generations are into it. So it's that, you have to ensure that go into the process, into the thinking in every aspect of our core areas. Okay, so this is one of the architect's vision. So for example, what we are trying to talk is, we are going against the gravity, we are going against the principles of stability. Like, when we talk about structural stability, when we talk about normal, any kind of a regular things, like, basic 4 columns and then 4 beams and then the slab, and you have how, that's the basic concept of it. But once you see this, but if you take into the nature wise, you have this kind of forms, many forms like this, how nature establishes that kind of structure, it's all about that. So this is the architecture. So it's all about, like, what, and in the parametric design thing, more and more complex forms are being created by architects. So what exactly a civil engineer is going to do here? So all these areas, for example, infrastructure of this building, how the infrastructure need to work, the roads and the underground services, all that is what civil engineer does it. And the most important aspect of this building is, the building architect can conceive an idea. However, this has to be a stable, the building is not a sculpture, right? It's people need to live on that, and the safety of the building is very essential. So that has to be dealt by a structural engineer. So a civil engineer with the structural specialization, he has to figure out how this building is going to stand. So the digitization process or the modeling process, what an architect can conceive, but equally competent structural engineers should come back and then create. And actually this one, there's, I don't know whether you heard about Calatrava. Calatrava is actually a structural engineer. He's a professionally a structural engineer, but he is a phenomenal designer. So the way he plays with the steel is so creative and so artistic. He was awarded as an architect. Actually, Calatrava, actually from a structural engineer, he could design his own buildings, and he became an architect. So further to that, the facade. So facade is an interesting one. It's a combination of civil engineers and also mechanical engineers are also entering into the facade with this complex system. But civil engineers with that interest, definitely they can take up the facade engineering. So one thing we all need to understand here is, facade design is done by an architect, but facade engineering is always done by an engineer. So facade engineering is basically to ensure that this kind of curved shape and the panels, it's not the structure. You saw that entire glass and the panels need to withstand the wind, they need to withstand the other weather conditions, and they need to be there. So to do that, you need to do a facade engineering. It's a kind of super finer structural system. You have to go into that elemental level. You will be designing even that, nuts and bolts, and fixing up that entire system is done by a facade engineer. And even the glazing systems, architect can conceive an idea, but a facade engineer is the one who actually gives the life in terms of, what is the mullion size, how the glass should be withstanding all those wind and other effective things. And you definitely know about project management. So that's a majority. Like, if you take a building project managers, though there are architects who are also into project management and project directors, there are some very limited mechanical engineers, but majority, 80 to 90% of the project management is totally dominated by the civil engineers. So, and quantity survey, that majority of the quantity survey, like around 75 to 80% of the building components are dealt by the civil engineers, either professional courses after civil engineering. So these are the areas where, you have to do. So the challenging building, may be conceived by an architect or a creative person, but, if the engineers are not ready with that challenges, I'm telling you, the building cannot be built. So that's the kind of orientation you need to have. You cannot just think about a traditional way of designing, traditional way of building it. Okay, sorry. So apart from the civil engineers and architects, so these are the other people, who are involved to make the building works. So HVAC, plumbing, electrical, acoustics, fire and life safety, security, AVIT is audio visual and information technology, because buildings are now with they're all powerful systems actually. So you require a lot, and many more. So this is where I said collaboration. So building is not one single entity. It's not just by an architect or just not by any civil engineer. It's an amalgam of many other people. Okay, so this is where BIM comes into picture. So where it actually tries to become an integrated source or one single source of the many designers or many consultants. It can become one single source. So we'll see in details more into it. These are very high level benefits. So the major benefits of the BIM, like, one of the major 61% is reduced document errors and omissions. See, this is unfortunately, this all errors, that 61% of the errors are created by us, by consultants, by human force when we are using a normal AutoCAD or hand drawn drawings. These are the errors which are occurred. So when you do a BIM, like, majority of this information, because it is integrated approach, so this will be reduced. So remaining all other things are clear, like, reduced rework, reduced construction cost, reduced project duration, and fewer claims and litigation. So the 17%, the last one, is also one of the important one to understand our industry. See, because our industry is very huge, you will be seeing a lot of legal issues and claims and litigations in a construction projects. So, and because of various other factors, I'll try to touch base on few of them. Okay, so in just continuity of the construction, like, what are the types? What are the types are there? Majority one which I highlighted, which are basically I kept it design and build. See, most of the projects which are repetitive in nature, like, hotel buildings, the one hotel is already designed and how exactly what it is going to be. So rather than client is going for a complete traditional process, he will try to call the contractor early in the design, and then he will ask them to go on for design and build. So if you just add design and build plus operation, is something like our metro, Hyderabad Metro, which is built by L&T EPC, is basically that is the process where they have that. They will also go for an operation mode into it. So another thing is lump sum contract. Lump sum contract is one of the very, very popular in Gulf. That's there, we get a lot of complications because of that. So that's why our design drawings need to be full in information and complete in information and completely coordinated. So the demand is very high. So I do work in India also. A lot of times, 50% of the design, even uh, huge projects like 40-story buildings also will start here. I mean, one of the recent examples is one of the very popular builder. I can't take names, where we were signed and we were supposed to work on the BIM. Without even drawings completing, with the drawing so many errors, they have completed even 3 levels of basement. And this is not a small building, it's a 40-story super luxury building. Already the reworks in that building is crossed more than 1 crore rupees. So the project is around 1,000 crores. So they may be seeing it as 1%, that's okay. 100 crores can vary because that is the contingency which is kept. These are the wrong aspects of the industry. No, we shouldn't. The contingency is for unforeseen. Contingency is not for our own errors and mistakes. So this is the approach. Still, some people are in the traditional mode, but unfortunately, I mean, that will come out very soon. The kind of buildings, what is happening in Hyderabad, the kind of luxury towers at the kind of scale we are getting it, definitely these things will be challenged. But unfortunately, I have seen these things are still happening. And one of this unit price contract is the most popular in India. It is advantageous in terms of not having disputes, but then the problem is your design will never be frozen. Your design will be always, you can change it if you have unit price. So we have dangers with that. Anyway, we'll just go into that. These are the various ways of executing the contracts. So this is the RIBA. RIBA is Royal Institute of British Architects. It is a UK-based architectural association. They have these stages, 7 stages of a building. So from stage 0, so this will provide, like, each stage, the effort need to be done so that in use, the 7th one, operation of the building is in a phenomenal way. Okay, let's quickly go through it. So I'll just take you through the stages. So what will happen in the stage 1 is about the thought, the project information. This is something which doesn't happen, which all the ideas, what is that project supposed to be, how the project has to be contracted and given, how the design has to be done, what are the who are the consultants they need to appoint, when they need to appoint, what is the rough program of the project. All that should happen in the stage 0. If you don't work in this, then you will have lots of problems in going. So this is again integrated project. It's again in the stage 0, the exercise need to happen. How this entire, for example, the key people, how they need to coordinate each other, how they need to structure each other, all that things should be happening in that process. Okay, there is this, again, we're talking about digitization. So in the beginning of the project itself, the sufficient information technology driven or information driven systems has to be thought of. So this is ISO 19650. This is the standard prescribed for information management in a building. So this will take care of, from the design to the operation, what kind of information systems need to be used. So there's a big document, and from that document we need to go on prepare our own document for that particular project. So this is one of the most actively, this is actually going across the world. Okay, so these are the various documents which are prepared especially for large projects. So the information, how it has to be handled. that's the kind of process. So we'll just see more examples. This is all about theory. Okay, so let me quickly take you slides in this. So what I'm saying is there are a lot of thought should be happening beforehand, even before coming into on site and also in the design. So this CDE, just remember that word, common data environment. So I'll be using that in many times. I think questions we'll keep it in the last. So the CDE, common data environment, is basically for all disciplines. Like, you know, we saw more than 10 different disciplines are going to work on this project, on one project. So all the disciplines, that information, design information, will be integrated in one place. So in a typical regular CDE is on cloud, but there are CDEs within networking system also. Ideally, it should be on the cloud. Okay, something like our LinkedIn or Instagram or something, you know, all that, it has to be integrated in the cloud. Okay, so then there is various checklists. So when you're doing a model, or building information modeling is all about modeling. So you should also prepare the checklists, you know, how the checking has to be done on the model. Okay, so various things like, you know, so also, like, again, this is one of the large projects, these things are seriously followed, because now every single consultant or a contractor is not ready with the digital application. So they have to be trained, they have to be given orientation, all that need to have, one should think of that before even starting. Okay, so again, I think if you remember, I just talked about survey. So this is the start point of it. You can do the survey, and it's basically, again, digital. Okay, so the thing is, so various aspects about the project collaboration. I talked about CDE. One of the example is Autodesk Collaborate Pro, which is called as also, which is popularly known as BIM 360. There is something called Iconix, and from Bentley you have something called ProjectWise. There are 4 projects. So there are various software tools. Basically, these are cloud-based document management systems. So our models, drawings, everything will be into it. So they are the ones actually which helps us reducing the errors, omissions. There is one of the biggest problem in the site is, which is the latest one? What is the latest drawing? You know, that some problems identified and drawings are corrected, but they will not be available on site in a right sequence. So for all those things, CDE is one of the most important one. So then how the BIM works is, for example, you can see the content. This is a very intelligent content. For example, if you take a simple example on the table, so tabletop, you will have it, and you can see the arrows. Arrows are meant for, so you can have different parameters. I can control the height, I can control the width of the tabletop, I can even control the height of each leg, and I can also control the size of the table. So every single element what is shown there are something like parametric. You can change them, you can move them, you can modify them. So that is what the rich content. Okay, so then you see the next example. Yeah, you saw the model, how it can be changed, how it can have all that information. But then the next level is, if you take a simple door, you can see that, you know, there are various parameters. Some parameters are coming from the model. Okay, if you, I can just highlight it. Yeah, if you see this, whatever you're seeing, that green lines, right? Each one can be created as parameters. Okay, if I zoom it here, width is coming. All these things comes from the model directly, or if you go and input this data, the model is going to change it. Okay, but if you go and see here, the description and all these things, these are literally typed. They don't affect the model, but this information will be carried. So that means if I take a door, that door will carry a lot of information, like, you know, it's a fire rated door, and the glass is from Pillington or some other, and, you know, my hardware is coming from some other company, it has such a warranty. So every single thing is information is fed into that model. So it's not just like a 3D modeling or something like that. It's an abundant of information. Some information is automated, some information is given. Okay, so that's the kind of, so the whole idea is this is actually like a huge database which is evolving. You're not actually creating a model here, you're actually preparing a huge database. So because of that, you can do quantity survey and other aspects. Okay, and then you can see this area analysis and everything. So if you do the same thing with an AutoCAD, you have to use an area tool to find that area. But now once I do within BIM softwares, okay, what happens is I can use a tool called room. The room can be given a name and the area will be there. So this entire thing we used in one of the shopping mall where, you know, one wall is, let's say if I remove this wall, sorry. Okay, if I remove this wall, these two areas will become together and it will ask me like, you know, please create a new name. So I can create a new name and then the area will be automatically computed. So that's the kind of intelligence it will come. So once I have that areas, then based on the areas, I can decide, you know, various other things, how many number of toilets I can keep or how many people will occupy. Like, you know, if I have so many people, then I need to take care of the fire strategy also, the staircase size and everything. So it's all about your design is you are making a very intelligent data. Okay, some examples I'll show you. It will be, see, so this particular project actually a bit interesting. What happened is this project actually, if you see the dark gray here, so this is the one which is already built. Okay, they built the okay, piling obviously to be completed. They have to complete the basements and also 5 floors are already built. When they built it, they built like an office and then they changed into a residence. So there were a lot of issues with that. And you know, when office it is built, the loads were different. When they changed into residence, actually number of toilets, number of people, the furniture in office also comes. But then there were various issues. They wanted to create more shafts. During this time, in fact, they need to even strengthen the structure. While strengthening the structure, actually some of the problems like ramps and then beam depths, all that created problem. So we have developed an entire thing in BIM. So you can see these kind of models are developed and various issues were identified before even construction. So we were literally building the model as if you are building on site. So in this entire process, what it helped us is before even going for the construction, they were thrown into various aspects, various issues were given to the client and the consultant, everybody sat together, they resolved. Otherwise, what would have happened? They would have gone to the construction and then you would have seen hundreds of errors. It would have delayed the project. Okay, so many issues like that. So in the drawing, they showed it's a balcony, but in the 3D, there was no balcony at all. And structural drawing, actually, they designed as a balcony. So there's so many things like that. So you know that, you know, structure is built first, then the architecture comes into picture. So if you are not supposed to have a balcony, what will you do? You will go and demolish there. So this is a kind of, I mean, this is only one simple example I've given, but you have hundreds of examples like this. Okay, there is another project which is, you know, you can see the shape. It's a simple, interesting geometrical shape, but it was a nightmare for understanding the slopes, understanding the structural systems, understanding that, you know, figuring out the MEP systems for that. So the only way is like to do a complete model, and we got a lot of advantages with that. So this is again one more example. So see, most of the buildings are air conditioned there, even residential are air conditioned, because you can't have normal buildings there because it's due to the temperature. So many issues arise. And when if you can see this, actually this is supposed to be the ceiling. Below the ceiling, above the door, one of the major duct came in. So then we have to resolve like this. The entire design has been changed. Then we could able to work. So imagine then these kind of things actually have to also penetrate the structure. You can imagine that number of holes come onto the structure, and if they're not being maintained or they're not designed properly, then you will have a lot of issues on site. Okay, these are various clashes. Okay, so then as I said about BOQ, because you have the model has this parametric approach, so you can create WBS parameters, and you can do BOQs, and you can also do a programming like Primavera. What you do it, the same Primavera can be used for BIM, and you can create a 3D based scheduling. Okay, so these are some of the examples of coordination. So you can see this is one of the I think this is a 4-star hotel in Dubai, and then you can see various things. You can see it shows of all those MEP things, but there is a bigger challenges with the structure in terms of creating holes, creating the shafts, and there is something called we call it as builder works. Actually, in the concrete, actually you identify much before construction itself, what kind of holes need to be created there, openings. Okay, then these are various shop drawings from BIM. Again, a lot of other issues. So, I mean, then this is about when you are making into a design kind of thing, ready with 3D. Once you go onto the site, this is what I was trying to tell about. You just use tabs and mobiles, and if you have a complete model in that, like an engineer who executes, he doesn't need to care about design, but he needs to execute. But if he understands the design very well, they can execute in a better way. So in terms of this 3D modeling, simple supervisor, a foreman, if they are able to see the 3D and understand that detailing and everything, so that really helps on site. So the information management awareness is one of the most important thing. So that is something which is becoming very practical with these applications. Okay, so this is quickly about 4D. It's as I said about Primavera and MS Project are used for project scheduling. So that project schedules, you can see this is a typical Gantt chart, right? The activities and that, but same activities if you show in the 3D. Okay, if I move this, I can see that they are evolving. So you will see the first excavation, then columns coming up, then before pouring the raft, they will put all that MEP items. So everything will be seen. So it will provide you a lot of site relevant issues you can start identifying much before on the site. On site, you will have various other kind of people safety people and logistic people. All of them sit and they deliberate on everyday activity. So to ensure that safe construction and lean construction to go ahead. So this is one of the major area where you can use it. Okay, you have a lot of simulations can be done. Okay, so let me quickly take you through, and the last 10 minutes are there. So let me take some examples. Okay, so this is my project. I started this somewhere in 2013 with RSP Dubai as a vice president, and I was the project director. It's a big, huge shopping mall. Okay, you are all maybe knowing about this Palm Jumeirah. So this is almost a project. My 7 to 8 years of the career was involved, because it's quite a complex project. It was quite a challenging structural project also. We don't have time for many things, but I'll quickly take you through. This is in Nakheel Mall in the Palm Jumeirah. Okay, so this is the time where I have taken over the project. So that means there was already hole made, and there were actually made thousands, almost 1,500 or 2,000 piles were constructed somewhere in 2006, and then the project was stopped. So I came in 2013 and 2012, and then we started redesigning the project. I literally took over the project from this moment. So this is the project when it is completed. So the surroundings are like this. So this monorail, when it was supposed to be built, before building it, it was designed to ensure that this monorail passes through the shopping mall. Okay, but the shopping mall was stopped, but this rest of the construction moved on. So the monorail is already constructed. While monorail is functioning, we have to build our shopping mall around that. It was a challenging task. It was a huge construction management task. So I'll just take you through. This is how it was designed. This image is not good, but you can understand. You can see the entire monorail was inside. Okay, so then later in 2012, when I joined, the monorail this is already constructed, but this is how we designed like this. But then further it was developed like this. So before, this monorail station was totally embedded, but then we have to create this as outside, and we have to build around that. You can imagine that it was not a small feat. It was a very difficult, very complex feat. Okay, but we could able to do it with good contractor and good site team. Actually, our team. I was project director on the site also. So this is how the entire thing is constructed. So even this is the Palm Tower. This is a 55-story high-end luxury tower. This again also started in somewhere 2014. We started designing on that. Then it started somewhere in 17 and then completed in 22. So these are mega scale projects. So Nakhil Mall is around 3,000 crores in Indian rupees, and then Palm Tower is around 2,000 crores. So it's around 5,000 crores project. I was a consultant project director. So it's not a simple task. You can imagine 5,000 crores. It's an industry by itself, right? So that is this is where I said about litigations, so many issues and all these things will come if your information is not correct. So every single line you draw or the model you do, the information need to be accurate so that contractors will do their job. Otherwise, we'll end up with a lot of arbitrations. And then, okay, that's okay, but it also delays. See, this is what the stage which I have taken over. And this is what the problem was, the around 70% of the piles were done, but these piles were for previous design. But now we have a new design. We need to ensure that the existing piles need to be used and the design cannot be based on that. So it's a very challenging task. So we did whatever the best possible. Some places we have to do a lot of rework, but at least we could able to use around 50% of that. And then you can also see these columns are not supposed to be touched. So in this entire 4 or 5 years of construction, the monorail was shut only for 6 months. Remaining 4.5 years of construction, monorail was operational. So that means you can imagine the pain of the contractor and the consulting team, how we need to ensure the safety of that operation. So all these things, we were able to do it with a complete understanding of, we did entire model of this, and we did a lot of clashes with existing and other things, so that we try to create a clear path for the construction. Okay, so just take some examples like, how design evolved. So sorry, this is something happened. I don't want to take now. We don't have time. It's a pure design exercise. Unfortunately, we missed that entire element because of various design decisions. This is the existing site photo.
You can extend for 15 more minutes, sir. No issue.
Okay. So basically what happened is, this is a material challenge. We had an issue with this. Once after the design, client actually wanted a more lighter kind of one. So then we went for this design. This is basically carbon fiber. See, being Dubai is a place where everything is imports. and though it can afford entire thing in the world, but at the same time and cost are going to be challenging also. So this is the time, actually, if you have seen this project, there is a Museum of Future. This entire facade of this building is done with the carbon fiber. So the same contractor who was supposed to do this, he was engaged in this. By the time he completed, and this contractor became actually probably, I should say, he lost money and he was expelled out of the country for various reasons. So then finally we ended up like this. So these are the things which happen. Building industry is very closely associated with the market and also political scenario in the market. So what I really wanted to say is, 5,000 crores project, one need to be at a leader on that. In the beginning stages itself, you need to develop the leadership skills. So as I said, one can be a simple foreman on the site, or maybe a site supervisor on the site, or he can become like a project manager or project director. See, I do have actually planners in this project. We had a planner, I think he was around 33, 34 years old. He's an extremely brilliant planner. He used to think ahead and able to tell us all the problems. But in the same, he was actually called as a senior planner. I think he did from NICMAR or somewhere, Civil Plus. He has done his master's in construction management, and then he has chosen the planning as his profession. And there was another gentleman around 48 or 49 years old. He was supposed to be the senior most planner, but unfortunately, the way this guy was doing it, he became an assistant for this 33-year-old guy. So do not worry about the age and experience. It's all about how passionate you are in the subject, understand it. And also very important is about the tool. The way he handles Primavera, and the way he used to handle, various other things. Like he used to work with little bit of Access, and he was super good at Excel. When he was generating the dashboards, and from the data, he was super good. And he could able to easily surpass almost 15 years experienced person. So it's again, there is abundant of opportunities where you can use that technology in the core. Your growth can be phenomenal. But unfortunately, the construction industry starts always small. You have to start from the basic. But it's all depends on the person, how fast they can grow. Okay, so this is what actually in just before the COVID, this opened actually. So some other examples, like this is one of the very iconic building in Expo. It's called Mobility Pavilion. Everything in this building is curved. So we can't draw this without 3D. You have to draw everything in 3-dimensional. Even you can't construct without 3D. Okay, so we were involved in last stage of the construction. I don't know whether you can see or not. It's actually the canopy here. There are 3 canopies around this building. In this perspective, you can't see the canopy also. But these canopies are, again, huge canopies, almost something like 25 meters canopies. But it's again covered in 3-dimensional things. They literally have to build this in a factory. You have to get from the entire metal work and glass. These are all assembled and built in the factory and assembled on the site. After that, they have taken a digital camera, 3D camera, because once you design and construction, you will have variation. So they literally did the entire 3D model from the scanning. So we have taken that scanning model, imported into our model, and then we have given the almost, you can say, setting out for the canopy based on the construction. So everything happened through digital way. So it was a phenomenal exercise. We almost spent around the last moment, almost 6-7 months on this project. It was a fantastic exercise on this. So these are various operational pavilions we have done in Expo. There are almost around 14 pavilions we did. So the interesting is, if you go into this model, like, this is already completed, right? We have something called as-built model. So the digitization was so much implemented in this project. Even a simple electrical fixture, or this is basically the washroom fixture, for hot air blower for after washing your hands, just a hot air blower. Even that information was kept here. It was even what is the company of this, how much is the warranty, from where it is bought. That entire information is in the model. Okay, so this model was given to them. So till the project is going to stay, I mean, the building is going to stay next 25 years, 30 years, they know exactly where it is. Even in this building, even a light, when there is a light to be replaced, even that the light switch is coming from which circuit. Okay, so that level of information was fed into that. Okay, so this is what is actually going to be the major one. It's, see, the design happens, let's say, in 1 year, construction happens in 2-3 years, but the building is going to stay for 30-40 years. So the information what we are doing here is, we are giving an information for that building to perform for 30-40 years with knowing what it is. Many times, you have to break the wall, you have to chip off the concrete, you have to chip off the plastering, you have to remove the ceiling to know what is behind. Okay, so that's the whole thing. You design in integrated way, construct in integrated way, and hand over it in integrated way, so that our buildings are maintained and performed in a better way. Okay, these are the various other projects which we worked on Expo. Every single project of this is, we have to deliver the project in that level of information. Okay, so these are various examples which are given for the data, how we have put it, asset breakdown we call it. So each asset is so many levels, like, like it's all one single building, right? So what is the level of the building, which floor it is, which room it is, which group it belongs to, all this information is given inside the model. Okay, and you can use and you can extract this in various other softwares, so for facility management and other things. Okay, so these are various COBie is something, again, for a facility management software. This data will be integrated with the facility management software. Okay, I'll just close this with the video.
There are many notable twins in the world today. You might even be a twin. But do you know what a digital twin is? Essentially, it's a digital version of a physical object, a dynamic, up-to-date digital replica of a built asset or environment. To help with building information modeling, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things technology, data from the original asset is used to build and improve.
What do we do? Okay.
By providing a precise, up-to-date model of its original, a digital twin can help designers engineer.
Let me share with the sound.
There are many notable twins in the world today. You might even be a twin. But do you know what a digital twin is? Essentially, it's a digital version of a physical object, a dynamic, up-to-date digital replica of a built asset or environment. With the help of building information modeling, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things technology, data from the original asset is used to build and improve the digital twin. By providing a precise, up-to-date model of its original, a digital twin can help designers, engineers, contractors, owners, and manufacturers create more efficient structures, Digital twins can help with everything from planning, design, and construction to operations and maintenance. Consider a building that's already been designed and constructed. Imagine there's a digital twin of the entire facility, from the roof to the HVAC to the mechanical, engineering, and plumbing systems. Now imagine that sensors in the building provide the digital twin with real-time information. The digital twin updates itself according to the data. Then, building owners can view areas where the building is aging or faulty and make improvements. On a greater scale, multiple digital twins can be integrated in an entire ecosystem. So, how did digital twins get their start? In the 1960s, NASA was one of the first agencies to use mirroring technology to replicate systems in space. Notably, NASA created a replica of Apollo 13, which became critical in the midst of its challenging mission. Engineers were able to test solutions on the replica to avoid further disaster. Dr. Michael Greaves, Chief Scientist for Advanced Manufacturing at the Florida Institute of Technology, introduced the concept of the digital twin at an American Society of Mechanical Engineers conference in 2002. He proposed a product lifecycle management center that contained the elements of a digital twin, the physical space, the virtual space, and the flow of information between the two. The manufacturing industry was quick to adopt digital twins, and the architecture, engineering, and construction industry followed suit, with the help of technological advancements like BIM, or Building Information Modeling. Today, digital twin technology plays a big part in the digital transformation of the design, engineering, construction, manufacturing, and maintenance industries. A digital twin starts with knowledge of the assets and spaces that make up a facility. This type of descriptive twin is a live, editable version of design and construction data, such as a visual replica of assets or facilities. An informative twin has an added layer of operational and sensory data. As more and more data is added, the twin becomes richer and richer and more strongly linked to its physical counterpart. Predictive twins are able to leverage this operational data for insights, while comprehensive twins simulate future scenarios and consider what-if questions. In the future, twins will become autonomous, able to learn and act on behalf of users. Because digital twins can gather key information about things like population growth, natural resource supply levels, and historical data on environmental disasters.
Yeah, just come back to the presentation. So this is the start of the digital twin process. You must have heard about BIM. You must have heard about artificial intelligence. Yeah. So you must have heard about artificial intelligence and IoT, machine learning. So what's happening is the entire technologies are integrating seamlessly into the different kind of systems are coming into one side. Like, so do not worry about what's happening, but what you really need to worry about is there is something technology innovation is happening. How do I bring into the construction industry, my core industry? No industry can sustain now without technology integration. So this is the kind of question and this is the kind of an attitude one start building it up. Absolutely, you don't need to run away from the core. In fact, you can do a much better than better things in the core. Okay, so just quickly, I wanted to take you through the remaining few slides about what we are doing additionally other than the projects. So this is again an ecosystem of digital twin. It's a physical asset and the digital twin. It's exactly mimicking how much, like you can go into detail how much ever you wanted to mimic, that much you can get into the digital twin platform. Okay, so this is again a simple thing about, like, my own project, Nakhil Mal, it was a semi-digitized project because the client did not accept fully digital. You will be shocked to know that, we have sent him in the handing over stage one full truck deliver of papers, that many number of papers, drawings, specifications and all. But if you go into digital twin, You just send one website or one path link. That's it. Rest of it, everything available in the cloud. Every single information which you look for, which will be available in the cloud. So that's the kind of one. And what happened is, on that one truckload of papers, 90% is disposed. Okay, and when they wanted, what is that they wanted? It takes enormous time to search, but the client facility management team actually did around 20-25% digitized. So, but yeah, future is for 100% digitization. Okay, so just quickly about BIM Graphics, giving back to the industry. So we have a solid, strong projects team, which is actually complemented with the training academy. Our training academy team is not just trains students and professionals. They also train our projects team. Also, they review our models and they audit our models. So that means actually we have a fantastic integration between an academy and the projects team. So that is what actually being offered to the industry. That experience is being offered to the industry. Okay, and then these are the associations we have: Autodesk, SketchUp, Bentley, and then we have all these areas: architecture, structure, MEP, construction, infrastructure. These are the major areas we work with, and with various courses. And then we have, I don't want to take you all this, and then just quickly, and we are very much connected with the industry. Along with me, my directors and my senior team are always happy to share with various colleges and also professional summits. I keep talking in various sessions in Dubai. In colleges also, I keep visiting whenever it is possible in India. So that's like all other directors here and also senior people, as I said, they all actively participate. So the majority is that we also learn a lot from these participations. And then we do a lot of training and implementation. And we also work with colleges and institutional trainings. We operate and do it. So this is another course which we are coming up with, a comprehensive process for BIM. So this is something which it can be, you can see from our websites and other aspects. Okay, these are various clients, like, international clients across the globe and in India. And I definitely acknowledge the team of GRIET and Naresh from our side. And thank you once again for this opportunity. And whoever is interested to get a certificate, they can scan this and they can send the details to with this code, and you will be getting a knowledge certificate or Autodesk from Bentley certification. You will get it for attending this session. Okay, and then that's it from my side. Open for questions.
Thank you, sir. We have a question from Dr. Jandyal Anmurthy Garu, Director of GRIT. What sort of challenges you faced as far as soil is concerned?
Which one? Soil. Okay. For the Nakheel Mall project, the soil, basically, it's, about Palm Jumeirah, right? Palm Jumeirah is basically filled up. It's there is no soil. It was basically, it's completely filled, it's in the sea. We had several challenges with that. But in terms of the soil study, it was the previous, piling people who are done, they are done with certain things. No? Okay. So we had a lot of challenges in terms of understanding that. So in fact, if you see the piles, they're almost something like 35 meters, 40 meters length of the piles. So various issues on that. But what happened is, after this was done in 2008, from 2006 they stopped in 2008. Then we have taken over. I've taken in design-wise 2012. Then piling started in 2014. Almost after 6-7 years. So the rules changed. The soil testing, what happened at that time, they rejected. Then we have to redo the soil test. and we have to recreate some of the piles. So it's a huge exercise. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Dr. C. Lavanya. As you mentioned in BIM benefits that 30% construction cost is reducing. Can you
Yeah.
please elaborate in which area it is more effective?
So initially itself, I showed that benefits. One of the first important aspect, 61% you could see the errors which are created by us. It is not by incidental. It is most of the times are created by the consultants and the contractors. That errors and omissions within the drawings can phenomenally reduce. So in that way, actually, you will be reducing the unnecessary RFI process, request for information, wrong construction, demolition. So those kind of things are one of the major aspects. Second one is about you are having accurate quantities. Like, when you use BIM, you get an accurate quantities. And like even many Primavera programs, when we see, it goes into number of pages, but there will be a lot of stuff. I mean, just sorry to say, a lot of stuff is copy paste. While they are doing like one floor, they do all the activities, and then they take that activity, copy and paste into other next lab, next. But you will have actually a lot of clashes in the program itself. So there are many mistakes happen due to that program, which are supposed to be taken care. Some electrical trenches, I mean, they are supposed to put that. Some openings need to be coming into that, all those things visually. When you go for a 4D, you can eliminate most of them. Likewise, many things. So if somebody is interested, please look into UK BIM mandate, which UK government has mandated the BIM in their entire country. That is where actually ISO 19650 came up. So there are huge information, illustrative cases are given in that. I mean, various places also you can see.
So next question from Dr. V. Srinivas Reddy. Is digital twin based on BIM model? Because even BIM is visual representation of physical assets.
Correct. See, digital twin is based on BIM model, but BIM model is not digital twin. So the question and answer both are correct. What sir was asking. Yeah, BIM is a digital manifestation of the physical asset. However, the BIM doesn't function. For example, what happens is in digital twin, let's say you have a camera in the entry, that camera has the facility to even count, or the camera knows that some people are entering, 1,000 people are entered into that building. So you have the model, you have a camera also. This camera in the digital twin model, if you don't have IoT, a sensor which can read the data from the camera, it won't be a digital twin. So digital twin is BIM model plus IoT sensors, because they have to bring the sensor, carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide percentage inside the premises, or the facade modulations due to the wind. There is such a kind of pressure is exerted on that window panels or curtain panel. So that data need to come to the model through the sensors. So it is BIM model plus IoT, Internet of Things. That together is digital twin.
Okay, sir. I request participants to please raise your queries by posting in chat box, or you can unmute yourself. So meanwhile,
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Good morning, Andy. Break even point ఎప్పటి వరకు వచ్చిందండి? కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ అయితే ఇట్స్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్. ఓకే, మనకి బ్రేక్ ఈవెన్ పాయింట్ ఎప్పటికల్లా వస్తుంది అది?
What does it mean? What do you mean?
సేల్స్ అండ్ ప్రాఫిట్స్. ఓ ప్రాజెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము, ఆ ప్రాజెక్ట్ నుంచి ఏం ప్రాఫిట్ వస్తుంది? దట్ ఈస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్.
Yeah, that's correct.
అది ఏ స్టేజ్ కల్లా మనకు వచ్చేస్తుంది అది బ్రేక్ ఈవెన్ పాయింట్?
No. See, we need to look into two different ways here. See, real estate, the construction market and real estate market are two different things. See, real estate are like, for example, I'm building a shopping mall. It's a 3,000 crores. It's a 3,000 crores mall. Okay,
Yes,
3,000
sir.
crores of what actually? 3,000 crores of construction value.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So then there is a site value. There is a total that many years of holding that site, and there is another value. Maybe it is something like 5,000 or 6,000 crores. So
Yes, sir.
what we have been talking about efficiency is on that construction market, the 3,000 crores worth of construction, how efficiently it could be done. It could have been done in 2,400 crores, or it could have been done in 2,800 crores, or we would have ended up with 3,300 crores. So,
Yes.
so the break-even point is basically like, I worked on a lot of retails in being in Dubai. It's all about commercial. So I worked on a lot of shopping malls and retails. For them, actually, 1 day delay is huge. 1 day
Sir.
operational delay, like 1 day
So
opening.
in crores.
Yeah,
In crores.
it goes into multi-billion crores. For example,
Yes, sir.
Nakheel Mall itself delayed by 1.5 years. So
Sure.
the kind of the Walk Cinema was completed 6 months before the Nakheel Mall opened. So
Sir.
they have made huge investment and they kept it because mall is not open. They are not able to open it. So these are the various other areas which will come. That is why it is essential that the project should happen on time. It's not only for construction, for various other reasons. So the break-even is always basically how that mall is going to be functional and how many people are coming in, and that's a different subject by itself. Same thing for any type of building.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other queries from the participants? Okay, sir. If we have any questions, I'll get back to you, sir.
Sure.
Participants, I think you have scanned the QR code which sir shared. Or if you are unable to scan that, in the chat box, we have provided you a link. So if you fill the details, you will get a certificate from Autodesk. The participants who have registered in the conference, please fill the form. I think if any questions are there, I'll get back to you, sir. Thanks for accepting our invitation and sharing your huge experiences. We are very grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
May I now request Dr. Jandyal Enmurthy Garu, Director of GR80, to please speak few words.
Good afternoon, everybody. After a very exciting and a fantastic lecture, I think I'll make my comments very brief. I know it's part of the valedictory function I'm speaking. The very fact that we have named this conference as RISE, a very cute acronym, I should say. RISE represents Annapurna, the very life-giving aspect. And I'm sure this RISE conference too has given that type of input to all the participants today. These recent innovations, the technology and innovations, actually, they are crossing the boundaries of all departments, not pertaining to any one particular domain as such. Civil engineering too gets sort of benefit from all of it. And as you know, the SDG goals also start. One of the major aspect right now is the rapid urbanization. So right now, SDG goals also say a sustainable urbanization is required. India also faces that problem. Right now, if you call a metro city of 10 million as metro city, if you define, we have more than 50%, and urban population is at about maybe 35 or 38, which will soon become 50% in another 10 years or so. So the infrastructure and the rest of the facilities have to meet these huge demands. And civil engineering plays a major role. And unless we make use of this technology and innovations, our productivity is not going to be very high. As you know, if I sum it up saying that both in materials, the manufacturing, the methods and the management, all of them are getting benefited by these aspects. You all have been covering, some of it has been already covered in this program. Materials part of it, we in one sentence we have to say with one word, smart materials are the ones which are the key to this aspect. And if we take methods, the recent, the one which we have just heard, the BIM and the digital twins have actually transformed this entire this design and manufacturing scenario in civil engineering. Infrastructure gets deeply benefited by these two aspects of it. And the other things like the IoT, the IIoT, the sensors are supplementing in such a way that maximum benefit is obtained by this domain. And aspects like the Primavera, the project, and other ERP software are also helping the civil engineers. I expect and I hope the civil engineer, the participants have taken the key points of it and make sure that they contribute to this exciting world called civil engineering, so that the society is sustainable and the quality of life is very, very high. With this, I congratulate the team, the RISE International Conference convener and the team, and civil department, the HOD, and the speakers who have gladly agreed to come and share their knowledge. I'm very thankful to all of them, and I wish success both in the academic world as well as the world which is supposed to contribute to the society. God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your inspiring words. It is my honor to propose vote of thanks in this valedictory for 4th National Conference on Recent Innovations in Civil Engineering in association with International Conference on Design and Manufacturing Aspects for Sustainable Energy and International Conference on Material Processing and Characterization 2023, co-sponsored by BIM and Graphics Integrated Studio Private Limited and RK Engineers Waterproofing Solutions, Hyderabad. We are extremely thankful to all the authors, participants, students, both inside and outside colleges, for their continuous efforts and contributions, which make this conference a positive vibe. We are extremely heartfelt thanks to other co-sponsors, BIM and Graphics Integrated Studio Private Limited and RK Engineers, which made this conference a reality. There are sincere thanks to all the speakers, Dr. USN Raju Garu, Associate Professor from NIT Warangal, Engineer Ramesh Garu, Managing Director of RK Engineers, Engineer Srinivas Garu from Ultratech Cement, and Mr. Bhanushree Prakash Garu from BIM Graphics. We are very grateful. Thank to our management, our Director, Dr. Jandyala N. Murthy Garu, Principal, Dr. J. Praveen Garu, Senior AO KSN Raju Garu for their continuous support and valuable guidelines. We also thank all the advisor committee and the peer reviewing committee members. I thank to our convener, Dr. C. Lavanya Madam, head of the department, and Dr. V. Srinivas Reddy Garu for their effort and the guidelines they have given us in this conference. And I extend our thanks to Dr. T. Srinivas Garu, Dr. G. V. Satyanarayan Garu, and Dr. V. Mallikarjun Reddy Garu for reviewing the presentations. And I extend my thanks to the team, Mr. Prakash and Mr. Vivek sir, for continuous monitoring without any delay and any disturbances. We have completed our conference in smooth running. And finally, I thank all the technical support and from teaching and non-teaching, all from others that who helped us, supported us directly and indirectly, and made this conference a grand success. Thank you, everyone. And it's our request, as this conference is held in online mode, to please turn on your cameras. We have online and offline participants also, sir. So if possible, can you please turn on your cameras, all the participants?
Thanks to Hema Madam for continuous 2 days being as MC, Master of the Ceremony.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your presence, which gives us very good support. Thank you very much, sir. I think we have done. Okay, dear participants, we have the lunch break till 2 o'clock and followed by presentation.